NASA is the promotional arm of the sun god or Lucifer worshippers, promoting the worship of the sun. They claim that the earth revolves around the sun is the center. NASA's sole reason for existence is to propagandize the public and promote this false bored-earth heliocentric worldview. Historically, heliocentrism was opposed to geocentrism, of which the earth is placed at the center. The view of geocentrism is backed by the Bible. Nicholas Copernicus was a cleric, a sun god worshipper, and who circulated manuscripts about his heliocentric views sometime before May 1, 1514. His idea contradicted the then prevailing understanding of the Bible. The Bible believers of the time believed that the earth was flat and unmovable. Nevertheless, in 1533, Johann Albrecht Wittmann-Stetter, the secretary of Pope Clement VII, delivered in Rome a series of lectures outlining Copernicus' theory. The lectures were heard with interest by Pope Clement VII and several cleric cardinals. On November 1, 1536, Archbishop of Kappel Nicholas von Somber wrote a letter to Copernicus from Rome encouraging him to publish a full version of his theory. All of these people were sun worshippers. They want the sun at the center. They place the sun at the center. Heliocentrism is simply a modern-day sun worship masquerading as the science. They believe that the earth rotates on an axis. The axis is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees. The earth rotates around its axis once a day, resulting in day and night. The volume of the sun is 1.3 million times larger than the earth. The average distance of the earth from the sun is about 150 million kilometers. The average distance of the earth from the moon is 384,400 kilometers. The tilted rotating earth revolves around the sun once a year, resulting in seasons. When the axis is tilted towards the sun, the northern hemisphere experiences summer, while the southern hemisphere experiences winter. In half a year, the earth will revolve elliptically counterclockwise around the sun, while the axis stays tilted at 23.5 degrees. When the axis tilts away from the sun, the northern hemisphere then experiences its winter, and the southern hemisphere experiences its summer. The moon revolves around the earth, and which reflects the light of the sun to the earth. From then on, learning and discovery were set free from the biblical point of view. As a result, the anti-Bible scientific revolution took place in the 16th and 17th centuries. During this period, the foundations of modern science were laid, leading to breakthroughs in the fields of physics, mathematics, chemistry, biology, and astronomy. For several centuries, astronomers have applied the scientific method to explore the universe and have determined that the Earth's orbit around the Sun has many fascinating characteristics. NASA was established by the U.S. corporation in 1958. One of its major roles is to promote Babylonian pagan worship of the sun god Ba and the Queen of Heaven. They praise the great names of the Babylonian sun god and the Queen of Heaven by sending space shuttles of Apollo and Columbia to the space. On January 28, 1986, they also sent Challenger space shuttle to the space, not only for challenging the Most High God in his highest resting place, but also witnessing our spinning globe Earth operating around the sun. Unfortunately, they failed. All of the crew members of Challenger space shuttle died of explosion. All in a sudden, it turns out 6 out of 7 of them are still alive today. Besides God, no one can survive. Amazing. Apollo 11 astronaut Edwin Aldrin is so amazing too. Can you see that? The shade of the solar panel can cut through his body, giving a straight knife-edge shape. Besides God, no one can do this. Amazing. Under normal situation, When a straight-line edge shape reaches an irregular surface, it will produce an irregular shape. Amazing. This is Apollo 11 astronaut Neil Armstrong. Can you see? His technique of taking photo is so marvelous that no one on Earth can do. He can take two shape patterns with one shot. So amazing. Educating the people to worship the sun is another mission of NASA. NASA sends its astronauts to the space lab to indoctrinate the young generation to worship the sun god. They produce the lecture video not in the space but on the ground. Most of the teaching videos are made in the studios. The spacewalk by the astronauts is filmed in the pool, simulating zero gravity. The most difficult problem in producing this kind of teaching video in the pool are the air bubbles and the buoyant force of water. Therefore, air bubbles are commonly found not only from the teaching kits of NASA, but also from the Soviet and Chinese footage. Besides, floating objects, such as floppy door, always cause embarrassment to the actors. NASA also employs a lot of graphic designers to produce graphic teaching image. Let's take Mr. Matthew Boylan as an example. He was a former NASA operational graphics manager. Worked for years creating photorealistic computer graphics for NASA. Boylan was originally recruited because of his skills and reputation as a hyper-realistic multimedia artist. He and his team members started doing projects like photoshopping various lighting and atmospheric effects onto images of Earth, the Moon, Jupiter, Europa, orbiting satellites, space stations, etc. The images of turning the flat Earth into a globe were created by the fish-eye effect of the software of Photoshop. Though the quality of these teaching materials are so poor, with the help of President Obama and Secretary Curry of the U.S. Corporation, the people are still easily indoctrinated, brainwashed, and deceived. Listen.
If I say that the world is round and someone else says it's flat, and someone else says it's flat, it's flat, it's flat, it's flat, that's worth reporting. But you might also want to report on a bunch of scientific evidence that seems to support the notion that the world is round, the world is round, the world is round.
They believe rising sea levels don't matter because in their view the extra water is just going to spill out over the sides of a flat Earth, flat Earth, flat Earth. You don't need to be a scientist. You don't need to be a scientist. You don't need to be a scientist to know that the Earth is round, to know that the Earth is round, to know that the Earth is round. That the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. You could pick 100 different examples of simple things that happen every day that reflect science, 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 science.
Satan used the President, Secretary, and independent agency NASA of the U.S. Corporation to promote the modern atheist Big Bang heliocentric globe Earth trans evolution paradigm. Its purpose is to spiritually control humanity by removing Yahweh, the Creator, or any sort of his intelligence design, and replacing his purposeful divine creation with haphazard random cosmic coincidence. If the Earth is the center of the universe, then the ideas of the Creator God, His creation, and His purpose for human existence are glorious. But if the Earth is just one of the billions of planets revolving around billions of stars in billions of galaxies, then the ideas of the Creator God, creation and a specific purpose for Earth and human existence become highly implausible. If there is no God and anyone is just an accident. So I think it's important to go back to the Bible to find out the truth about the creation. Now let's explore what our living earth looks like from the Bible. Yahweh the Creator challenged and asked Job, "Have you comprehended the vast expanses of the earth?" This question tells us that our earth is a vast and extensively flat land like this. Our earth is flat with its ends at all sides. We all know that circular object had no end. Our earth is a flat surface and divided into 4 quarters with 4 corners. There are 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, controlling the 4 winds. The shape of the earth looks like clay under a sieve. When a piece of clay is pressed by a sieve or chalk, part of the clay will spill out and over the fringe. The central part of the clay becomes a hollow with protruded marks. The hollow is filled with water to form the oceans, and the protruded marks become continents or land masses. The outer fringe of the earth, having covered with thick snow, now forms the Antarctic circumferential plateaus. The Antarctic circumferential plateaus form the boundary of the sea. Saying, Yahweh gave the sea its boundary so the waters would not overstep his command. The wall of Antarctic circumferential plateaus formed the boundary of the sea so the waters would not overstep the horizon of the command of Yahweh the Creator. Yahweh the Creator gathered the water under the sky to one place and let dry ground or land appear. The firmament comprised heavens and skies, which are made of something sparkling like solid, awesome and hard glassy crystal. The shape of the firmament looks like a vault or dome shaped like a canopy. Yahweh stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. Let's see how the people construct a tent. After having found a piece of flat land and set up the posts and stakes or rods, we then spread the curtain on top of the frame. A tent will then be erected. In this way, Yahweh constructs a living space for us to dwell in under the firmament or heavens. And the dwelling place of Yahweh is above the firmament dome. Above the heavens of canopy, there lie waters at upper chambers. And Yahweh God sits on top of it and looks down from heaven on all humankind and we are like grasshoppers. The earth is his footstool. The footings of the footstool are the four cornerstones of the earth. Besides the four cornerstones, Yahweh also laid a very firm foundation. He also fixed securely the fountains of the deep. And then he set the earth on the foundations. Therefore the earth is so firm that it is immovable and unshakable. On the contrary, the sun, the moon, and the stars are constantly moving in the sky around our earth. Let's say the sun circles horizontally over the flat earth surface with its center at the North Pole. It takes 24 hours for the sun to make a complete round once a day, creating day and night. The Bible says the sun rises and the sun sets, and hurries back to where it rises. It is not difficult for us to understand that the sun looks smaller and smaller when it moves away from us. However, many of us do not understand why the sun is sinking below the horizontal when it moves away from us. Now I would like to demonstrate why the sun is going down the horizontal when it moves away from us. It is about our perception. When we see the sun above us, there is an angle of elevation between the horizontal and our line of sight to the sun. In case when we look at the sun from north to east direction, and the sun is moving from east to west direction, the angle of elevation of the moving sun changes slightly. However, in case when we look at the sun from the east to west direction, the angle of elevation of the moving sun becomes smaller and smaller, giving rise to the perception of the setting of the sun. Even though we see the sun is setting, the sun is still moving horizontally above the horizon. Now you see the sun is partially below the horizon. However, if we zoom in, the sun is still above the horizon out there. As a matter of fact, the sun never sets. The sun and the moon not only mark the day and the night, but also the seasons of a year. The yellow circle on the map is the Tropic of Capricorn. The red one is the equator. The orange one is the Tropic of Cancer. The sun circles above the Tropic of Capricorn in December at its winter solstice position. The sun circles above the equator during both the spring and fall equinoxes in March and September respectively. The sun circles above the Tropic of Cancer in June at its summer solstice position. The sun moves north from its winter solstice position and circles slower and slower daily. After reaching its summer solstice position, the sun moves south and circles faster and faster daily. The migration of the sun, as a result, creates the four seasons. You don't need to be a scientist. We can surely know how the sun rises and sets. Our eyes and experience tell us that the earth is flat and motionless, and everything in the sky revolves around us. Trust your own eyes. The sun is not 130 million times larger in volume than our earth. The sun is also not 150 million kilometers away from us. The sun is so small and so close to us.